Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Aligned Actor Podcast. I'm Amy Schlurb, your friendly internet mindfulness and mindset coach for actors and creatives, anyone who's chosen a creative life career, one of those careers that's unpredictable, that you never know what's coming next. It's full of ups and downs, twists and turns. It wreaks havoc on the nervous system. And we need to be able to handle all of that. And one of the great ways that we can handle all of that is through mindfulness and mindset work. And that is my job here. That is what I aim to do with my podcast, the Aligned Actor Podcast, with all of the work that I do in my business, is to help actors and creative people thrive physically, mentally, emotionally, just thrive as artists and creative beings in general. And that's what we're here to do again today. I want to help you with all of that. And one of the best ways that we can thrive physically is we need to make sure that we have energy for our creative life. Acting is a really unique career in that it takes a lot of energy, and being a human in general takes a lot of energy. Don't get me wrong, but being an actor takes extra energy because, yes, it is a lot of fun to play characters that express all kinds of emotions. And, when we play dramas and we have to cry hysterically, or if we're doing a comedy and there's a lot of physical action in it. Like, there's a lot of things that are really, really fun and interesting and sort of juicy to play as actors. But all of that is all really exhausting. And not to mention the 4:30 a.m. call times, or sometimes even earlier, and overnight shoots, all of that kind of stuff. Additionally, that's the fun stuff, right? It's all exhausting, but it's really fun. And then on top of that, a lot of us probably all have full-time jobs that we have to do in addition to our full-time acting career. And then we also have a full-time life. We have parenting obligations. We have commitments to maybe parents or other older adults that we care for, or we have commitments in our community. And there's a lot that we have going on. So we have a career, a day job, a life, and living. Like, there's just so much going on all at once. And we need energy to be able to juggle all of that. We need actor for we need actor. We need energy for our full actor life. Otherwise, how in the world are we going to turn in a kick-ass self-tape at 9:30 p.m. when, we've done a long day of working and parenting and we finally got the kid to go to sleep, and now we have to turn to 5-10 pages of a tape to do? And our partner just wants to get on to watching something on Netflix, and we're like, no, but we got to get this done. And how are we going to get a kick-ass performance out of our instrument when we're exhausted? So we need energy. We need to build in energy into the system. So this week, I'm going to invite us to take some time to acknowledge everything we have going on in our lives. And that might not seem like, wait, how's that going to get me energy? Like, that might be what you're thinking at this point. But this is the crucial first step, because everything that requires our physical and mental energy, we need to take a look at that, because once we see it, then it becomes easier to make sure that we find ways to prioritize getting energy so that we can do all of those things. Now, some of those things are going to be great things that we definitely want to be doing. Others of those things, might be things that we don't like doing particularly, or things that are just stressing us out. But once we can see everything that we have going on, then it becomes easier to go, oh, I have a lot going on. I have a lot of things that require my energy. So I got to make sure I get myself some energy. So instead of minimizing our life load and continuing to go, oh, I don't have that much going on in my life. Like, I'm fine. Like, everybody else has a lot going on. Like, sure, I'm exhausted, but I can handle this. Everybody else has a lot. Like, everybody has a lot going on, right? Like, this is just life. Instead, you start thinking, oh, okay, look at all this stuff I have going on that needs energy, that requires energy from me. and I better get myself that energy. So this is where I have an exercise called What's on Your Plate? So this exercise is going to help you acknowledge everything you have going on in your life. You're going to look at the categories on the napkin, and there's an image for you if you're listening on the podcast. There's an image on my Substack that you can go and find. I will make sure that that is linked up. But there's a bunch of categories listed, and you're going to write down anything and everything that you have going on in that area of life. You're going to write down the great stuff, the not so great stuff. You're going to write down literally anything and everything that comes to mind that you have going on in your life. And you can feel free, of course, to skip any categories that don't apply to you. And you're going to notice that there's two rims of questions on the plate. And the outer rim asks questions about physical activities, stuff that you're doing that you have to like actually actively engage in with your physical body, I guess. So, what are you doing regularly? What are your responsibilities? What do you need energy for? Where is your energy going? And then the inner rim asks questions about mental load because there are things in your life that might be really stressing you out. Hello, the news of things. Uh, so some things that might be really stressing you out, but you don't necessarily have a tangible responsibility to figuring out what's going on in Greenland, but it's still really stressing you out, for example. So the questions on that rim are what's stressing you out? What are your sources of stress? What's weighing on your heart and or mind? And of course, there's going to be a ton of overlap because there's going to be things that you do day to day that also cause stress. It just happens. It's part of life. But once we know that, then we can take steps to nurture ourselves and help ourselves with that experience. So you can get a printout of this on my Substack. It will be linked up in the show notes of this episode. And you can also just look at, there's an image that's just on my Substack. I can see it right now. You can't, but it's here. And it has, it's got what's on your plate. And then it shows like a dinner plate with two rims and then like life categories to consider on a napkin off to the side. And it's it's a good thing. And you can print it out and write on the actual plate if that floats your boat and you like doing that. Or you can just take out a journal or open up a Google Doc and just write down a bunch of stuff, like answer the questions basically that I've thrown into the Substack. So once you've filled out your plate in whatever way works best for you, I want you to just take a look at it and just breathe. Because it's possible that looking at all of the things that you have going on all at once will feel a little overwhelming or a lot overwhelming. So just be gentle with yourself because this work might bring up a lot of feelings. Because you finally took the chance, took a moment to look at everything you have going on and actually acknowledge yourself. And so I actually want you to do that. I also want you to say to yourself, I have a lot going on in my life that requires energy. Because you do. Acknowledging yourself in this way is a really powerful first step to reclaiming and restoring your energy. Because you're not stuffing it away, you're not minimizing it and saying, well, but everybody has a lot going on. So like, hi, well, I don't need to take care of myself because everybody has a lot going on. We're all just trying to get through, right? No, you're actually just sitting and going, okay, I see myself. I see that I have a lot going on. So of course I might be feeling overwhelmed by that. And I'm going to need to figure out a way to get myself energy for this. And you can do that. I don't want you to feel, after you do this exercise, don't worry, we're going to get to getting you more energy. And we're going to start right now, and then we're going to have more, I'm going to have more ideas for you in a future post podcast episode, whatever we call these things these days. So we're going to talk about how to consistently energize yourself in a future episode. And for now, I have some action items for you to play with in the meantime. So action item number 1 I want you to make a vow, an energy vow to yourself. So now that you can clearly see all the things that you have going on in your life that require your energy, I want you to make a commitment to yourself that you're going to get yourself that energy. And again, I'm going to have way more in a future post about how we're going to get that energy. What are like the actual step by steps that we're going to take to make sure that we're getting the energy that we need. But for now, I think it's enough to just promise yourself that you have your own back. You're going to get yourself that energy. You're going to commit to energizing yourself. You're going to commit to prioritizing your energy. So you could say something like, I vow to protect, manage, and care for my energy so that I can show up exactly how I want in my life and do all the things that I want to do. Something like that. Make it work for you. Use language that works for you. You could even just say something as simple as, I got my own back. I'm going to get myself some energy. I'm going to prioritize my energy and the energy that I need to do life how I want to do life. Whatever works for you. And then action item number 2, and this one might feel a little scary at first blush, but we're going to see if you can remove some things from your plate. Because the first step to protecting and managing and caring for your energy is seeing if there's anything on your plate that doesn't actually need to be there. So you can start asking yourself some questions like, what things on my plate could I let go of? Because maybe you don't need to attend 4 casting director workshops and an agent showcase this month. Maybe you could do fewer of those types of activities. What tasks could I delegate? So maybe somebody else in your life or in your household could take on the responsibility of grocery shopping, if that's something you typically do. Or any other activity. Is there something that you could delegate? Is there something that you could have somebody else take off your plate for you? And then finally, how could I adjust any of these things to make them easier? So maybe instead of making some homemade treat from scratch to bring to the book club or the potluck, maybe instead you pick something up from the store on your way over there. Just an idea. So, because there are going to be ways that you could maybe adjust things that are on your plate so that they're easier. So sit with these questions and let your mind muse on them. And I asked them in very specific ways that are going to get your brain thinking of solutions and possibilities. So once again, the questions are, what things on my plate could I let go of? So that starts to get your brain going, oh, there's things here I could let go of. I wonder what those are. Let me think about it. What tasks could I delegate? Yeah, what could I delegate? What could somebody else do? Where could I ask for help? And then how could I adjust these things to make them easier? Yeah, what are my possibilities there? What would make hosting this party easier? Questions like that. So just get your mind musing on those things so that it can start coming up with solutions for you. Brains are really good at that when we ask questions in the right way. So I want to help you get the energy that you need for your actor life. And what you did today, looking at everything that you have going on in your life, that's the first step. So good job, you. And I would really love for you to go do something nice for yourself and celebrate all your hard work today, because you took a really, really important first step to reclaiming your energy, to prioritizing your energy needs in your own life. So you should be really proud of yourself. So go celebrate yourself. That's what I have for you today. If you found this content helpful or inspiring, I would be oh so honored if you would leave a comment, share it with a pal that maybe could benefit from getting some more energy in their own life. You could give a one-time donation to my Substack. Or you could consider becoming a paid subscriber to my Substack. And paid subscribers, we're going to start doing community Zooms where you can actually come live, meet up with me on Zoom, and we'll talk about mindfulness and mindset. I'll probably guide a little mindfulness session during that time. But yeah, it's going to be a rockin' good time. And I would love to see you there. That's it for today. Take care until next time. Bye.